And today, as I adjust this camera, we are back. It is November 7th, 2023. Yes, we're waiting for Jackson to be hopping on. He said something came up. But we're here, dogs asleep to the right. The air conditioning is going on to our left. And it's an interesting slate that we got to talk about from last night. We had 14 games, which I'm starting to get Henry on my side that makes no sense that we have no fucking NBA games on tonight, but we had to have 14 games start at 7 p.m. last night.
You did. Yeah. You did on the record have 11 games, I believe. 11 games started between 7 and 8 yesterday.
Yeah. How? And then there was 3 more just at the late slate. So it doesn't. I do want to talk about this. The NBA scheduling has never made sense to me. Ever. I've always thought NBA scheduling since I was a wee bit of a lad. Thought it was just dumb. That for a sport, baseball knows what it is. Baseball knows what the fuck it is. There's 167 games. Not everyone's going to watch every single game. If you do, you should be considered degenerate. And they just, Henry, what's the earliest a baseball game starts? He's into baseball. It's like noon.
11 or noon.
11 or noon. Like, come on. I'm not saying for fucking NBA to start at 11 or noon, but you literally agreed with me. You were like, at 5 p.m. they could start playing. Instead of having 11 games between 7 and 8 start, have 11 games start between 5 and 8 and just have them all start within like 30 minutes. I think, what's that? That's a 3-hour span. That's at least like 2 games per hour. That's 6 games you could have had start between that span. I mean, you could figure out more 2 games every 30 minutes. Booyah. I just feel like it's dumb. It doesn't allow everyone to watch fourth quarters. And like you kind of have to like pick and choose which game it's worth watching on NBA League Pass. I think that's the most frustrating part about this. Why I get annoyed. What about you? Are you starting to see why I get annoyed over the scheduling? I feel like it could be done so much better for a multi-billion-dollar league. This is how you're scheduling.
Well, it just really forces people to come and watch the NBA show for guys like us to run through every game so they can understand what they missed on a night when it's jam-packed like that,
I couldn't agree more. But I just think, though, I understand that if they're doing it so everyone can attend a game, because that's what I've been told in the past, where the NBA wants everyone to attend their games or whatever. I'm like, come on, let's be honest, NBA. Not everyone's attending your games, but I feel like there's a way to fix it. But let's get into last night's slate. Can you tell us who were the winner? What was the record from last night?
Our record from last night was me on top again. You guys should start tailing me. I was the only one to take the Bulls over the Jazz and the Knicks over the Clippers. I was 7-4. You were 6-5. Jackson was 5-6. But his lock of the night, the Mavs over the Magic, hit, so he gets a little boost somehow. Or a shout out on the show. Shout out Jackson.
The two I would have won last night if my 2 hot takes passed. I had the Orlando Magic beating the Mavs. That would have brought me to an even record to you. And then I had one more hot take. I had
Mavs. I had the Magic also. I lost that one.
You lost that one too.
And you correctly got Wolves over Celtics.
I got Wolves over Celtics. Okay, so I got that one. So Mavs Magic. Okay, we would. Damn, yeah. I think so you beat me.
Nets over Bucks. You almost had. If that was the hot take you were thinking of.
I think that was my other hot take. Yeah, Nets versus Bucks, because I said Cam Thomas, which I had for 3/4 of the game. It felt like the Nets were going to win that game, and the Bucks kind of just took it away from them.
And that's an early season storyline for this Brooklyn team, though, is they've struggled to close contests.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And I have Cam Thomas written down as something I want to talk about. But yeah, so if I got that one, that would brought me to 9-4, and then. Or maybe 9-4, 7-4, and then one more 8-3, whatever. All right. Interesting enough. We'll get into those slates later to see what those games will be. But let's get right into talking about. I want to talk today. The Denver Nuggets last night. And look, all right, let me pull this up. The Nuggets right here. Sorry, my dad just texted me and we're in a conversation. So 134 and 116, it wasn't close. I swear to God, Julian Strawther and the Beds got so many minutes. Colin Gillespie 17. Who Collins actually seems to be like a part of the rotation, which kudos to him. But Zeke Nnaji, Braxton Key, Jamarco Pickett, Hunter Tyson, and Julian Strother, Payne Watson, Christian Brown, all those guys off the bench. Dude, it felt like I was watching them. Julian Strother at 21. Okay, Julian Strother could not miss. Reggie Jackson started tonight, had 7 points, and it was interesting because the bench really picked up the piece. I mean, the starting lineup still, everyone has scored in double digits, but the bench, I swear to God, I was watching this Nuggets games and it felt like there was a minute I was watching. I was like, that Zeke Nnaji, Julian Strother, like Christian Brown. I think it was like Payne Watson and Colin Gillespie on the floor to close the game, and I was like, or at least at one point in the fourth. I was like, oh wow, they're really like beating the Pelicans with this lineup. And I know the Pelicans were without still no literally listen to this bench. You're playing Matt Ryan, Kira Lewis Jr. in your bench as part of your main bench rotation. So
yeah, but that should be better or at least comparable to these dudes the Nuggets are trotting out as well.
Dude, Matt Ryan at 17. Shout out to him. I know they don't even have a point guard, dude. Jordan Hawkins has been a point guard right now. They've been playing Jordan Hawkins half this season as a point guard instead of a shooting guard.
Yeah, it's point Ingram, which for better or worse.
Yeah. I think the Denver Nuggets just top to bottom are really good, and they rebuilt their bench. It's just they have so many options off their bench. They got two backup point guards in Reggie Jackson and Gillespie. They got wings and Strother, Watson, and Brown, and I guess you could throw Tyson and Key in there, and then also Pickett's another guard. And then they have Zeke Nnaji finally as a backup big. It's just really. It's nice to see that they've been able to evaluate talent that was you know what I mean? That can perform early in their careers and not have to be waited on.
Seeing Julian Strother have sets designed for him where he was coming off screens and hitting pin down threes was pretty impressive to see. This was a breakout game for him. I thought that Colin Gillespie played kind of poorly. Some of these guys were really just garbage time minutes, but I mean Strother emerging as a wing off the bat would be a coup in and of itself. Even if the rest of these young rookies don't make much of an impact, to add another guy who can step in and get you 20 on a night is huge for Denver. And a testament to Jokic, obviously, he makes it all possible.
No, I agree. Definitely nice to see Jokic being the connector for all this, but also it's nice to see Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. Really, I mean, first off, Michael Porter Jr. so far this season is averaging 16 points and 8 rebounds, which is he'll average 17 last year, but it's the rebounding which we saw 2 years ago before the back injury. Last year he wasn't rebounding as well as he did before, but this year he's really going out there. He's had multiple games with double-digit rebounds, and I think Michael Porter. I'm not gonna say here be he's evolved as a player because that's not true, but I think he looks like he's moving a bit better. He's a bit more springier. I think the more seasons we get away from the back injury, or what was back injury in 20.
Well, he's had 3 back surgeries.
No, the most recent one when he played 9 games, 21 to 22. You remember that?
Oh yeah.
That year, I think he had the back flared up. Because he's had back and ACL problems. So I think it's good to see him looking more and more like the Michael Porter Jr. who got paid for averaging 19 and 8 or 19 and 7, whatever it was. And then Aaron Gordon out here, who people always thought he was the example of good player putting up in good stats on a bad team. As he was almost, he was a high teen scorer for the Orlando Magic. And last year he averaged 16 for the Nuggets. And it's crazy to think about. This is technically year 3.5 for him. But he's coming out of here shooting 58% from the field. And it's crazy to see that this year, even though he's not scoring as much, he's their Swiss Army knife, and Aaron Gordon's just being, I feel utilized to the best of his ability I've ever seen in his career, especially being an Orlando Magic fan.
And he is somebody who I would say his game has evolved and is evolving.
I think it's always been there. It's just being taken advantage of. Like I think it's evolving in the sense that he's taking more. He's not taking as much bad mid ranges, and he's not trying to ISO anymore. But that's because of the circumstances he's in. But I feel like all the things there have always been there. Because when he played with like Vooch and Fournier, and like when we were actually a playoff squad, he would delegate. But like now, like he actually got someone creating for him and like taking away pressure. So I think it's like has it evolved? Yes, but I feel like it was always there, and it's just more he's honed it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
His craft, and he knows what to do, what Jokic likes, and how to do it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And they all do. That's what makes this Denver team so dangerous. Is everybody like has synergy with him.
Yeah, no, completely. Yeah, it's definitely a big part in this and why they're having success. All right, let's move over to Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat.
Bam with a 22 point, 20 rebound, 10 assist, triple double. They beat the Lakers by 1 off a missed Cam Reddish 3 at the buzzer.
You were complaining about
108, 107. I was complaining about LeBron, who for the second time in the season passed up the opportunity for a game-winning shot. And he created a good look for his teammate, but I want LeBron to take that shot. I just do.
I understand wanting LeBron to take the shot. I do. But I also think he's probably trying to instill faith in his teammates.
Fuck that. Come on now.
I know, but it's regular season basketball. Yes, if this is Game 7 of the NBA Western Conference Finals, I want LeBron taking that shot, and LeBron's probably wanting to take that shot too. But
But he doesn't even then, bro. This is like the meta trend. He kicks in clutch scenarios too.
it's LeBron. Everybody knows LeBron is a passer first, not a scorer first. He's just that good of a scorer that he's been able to score at this level.
30 points and 3 dimes tonight, and then he passes up that. Isn't it just like?
It's just
Isn't it strange? Why don't you? How is it not? How is the killer instinct not there?
I understand that's strange. Also, I want to bring this up. Somebody tweeted, I think Dave McMillan, who I really don't like Dave McMillan, but he put out a tweet saying that Darvin Ham challenged during the training camp Anthony Davis to shoot 6 threes a game. I think he shot so far like 10 through like 7 games for like an average less than 2 per game. It's just funny. But I think it's definitely weird. LeBron, like maybe kick it up to Davis, but I do get like I understand wanting to instill the faith in your teammates and it's early in the season, but yeah, like LeBron needs to be a bit more selfish, and that's been like the problem with him in the Lakers, that he is passive or passes it up too often.
LeBron, for being a basketball genius, just has to know that the odds of him taking a like highly contested mid-range 2 is probably more likely to go in than Cam Reddish taking a 3. It's just like
You just chuckled.
I did. Well, I think it's just ridiculous.
First off, did not know Haywood Highsmith had 5 points in 22 minutes. I just saw that stat for the first time. Also, I'm sorry, I do want to say this about the Miami Heat, and we're talking about this game. I did want to focus mainly on the Heat. The fact that Kyle Lowry's playing 30 minutes and just giving you 5, 5, and 5, basically 4, 4, 5, 5. I've said this before. If in January, whenever 10-day contract starts and they don't give John Wall 10-day, if they haven't signed him before then, I'm going to be like so upset. Like you're telling, I want to fight people if you're going to tell me that Kyle Lowry is giving you more production than John Wall can. I feel like at least it's the same. I feel like John Wall's in better shape than Kyle Lowry at this point. I'm sorry. I think also I don't think, do you agree with me? They have nothing to lose bringing John Wall at this point, or any other guard like that can competently dribble a basketball. You can't have your main starting point guard score 4 points.
Yeah, they have nothing to lose. That's as far as I'll agree. We've talked off the record. I think that John Wall is washed, but they have nothing to lose.
I don't think he's as washed as Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker can get like fucking 2 opportunities before he has to go to AS Monaco.
Kyle Lowry, for what it's worth, the plus 3.9 net rating on the season.
Fuck, dude. Do you want to hear what Kyle Lowry's stats are for the season?
Well, you can name them, but I just gave a decent one.
Yeah, I don't care. Oh,
about his net rating? You're going to tell me what he's scoring instead, bro?
His net rating, cool. They're 3 and 4, bro. But like, he's shooting 40% from the field, 5.5 points, 4 rebounds, 4.7 assists in 30 minutes. I understand that those are, dude, that's horrendous. That's horrendous. Like, I want to see, like, how, like, if he's scoring 2 points, he's, like, taking, like, 5 shots a game. He's not even looking to score. Yeah, he's averaging 5 field goals a game, 6 field goals a game. That is horrendous. And they're primarily threes. He's taking 5 threes a game.
And what's the 3-point percentage?
3-point percentage, I believe, is, let me get it over here, 35% on right now. But again,
Palatable.
He only takes threes. He takes one non-3-point shot a game, and the rest are threes. And he only takes 5 shots a game.
Well, that explains why his field goal percentage is low, and also I don't.
Well,
he can't do much else. Which, like,
second year in a row, he's averaged 40%. Last year, he averaged 40%. Year before that, in the first year with Miami, he shot 10 field goals. He's literally just been, like, decreasing his field goal attempts. And that was such a bad signing on their part. Like, also, it was so evident Kyle Lowry was washed when they signed him or signed and traded him. Because he had just came off that 34-year-old season, wasn't an all-star, and then they gave him the fattest bag ever for fat boy Kyle Lowry.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they could upgrade and get, like, any type of dynamic player at guard, like a flyer on John Wall, cool. I'm open to seeing how it goes. But Lowry is just like he's just at this stage of his career. Like, we shouldn't have crazy expectations for him. Like, he can just be a floor general that is slightly conducive to winning. I think that's exactly what he is.
So here are the top 3 point guards that they could sign right now. Kevin Porter Jr. This is Hoop Talk, by the way. Kevin Porter Jr. is obviously, probably from your basketball standpoint, he's clearly the best free agent available by a mile, but obviously the case is pending, and there's some legitimate questions about whether his NBA career is over or not. So there's that one. Supposedly the second best option in free agency right now is Goran Dragic. Even though he's lost some athleticism, he's still a great player in transition. He can finish at an elite level, and he still shot 36% from 3 last year in limited minutes for the Bucks. Their third-ranked point guard in free agents right now is John Wall. The guy played last year, didn't look overly impressive. He's right, still very fast on the open floor, can get to the basket at half court, but he's nowhere near the athleticism he was at his prime. And he still lacks a consistent jumper, but he did shoot, 41%, 31% from 3. And then they're saying Karlek Jones is the 4th, and George Hill. Like, dude, George Hill, you're telling me George Hill can't be brought in? Austin Rivers is the 6th. Kennedy Chandler's still out there at 7. Jason Preston's on the Grizz, but I think he's just on the G League team. He's not on a 2-way, right? Or did he sign a 2-way? I think he might have signed a 2-way. And Alfred Payne's out there, okay? He made news for signing a 1-game deal, Alfred Payton, to play the Raptors in preseason. He had 21.7 rebounds and 7 assists. Like, and Scottie Pippen's out there too. So, I'm just saying, you're telling me that none of those guards can actually, like, be on this roster? Just honestly, you don't think any of those guards would help? I feel like at least 12 minutes a night, they'd give you the same amount of points as as Kyle Lowry, if not more.
Yeah, I'm down for him to step in and help, but I don't think that any of them are really better than Kyle Lowry.
I think they're on the same. I'm not saying that either. I'm saying that they're on the same level. Like I think at this point you need to go by point guard by committee.
Yeah, I'm taking Lowry's defense over most of those dudes.
I'm not saying.
But yeah, I agree. That adding in a
competent backup who can play 20 minutes a night to split the load for Lowry, like 15 minutes a night, like. Especially, like, if they don't sign anybody, when 10 days come around, I hope they start giving these old guys 10-day contracts to see what they can do, because they really don't have anything to lose. Like, I think it'd be great. You play Lowry 25 minutes, you throw in another guy, maybe 1 or 2 other guards for, 10 minutes apiece. So.
Yeah. And it'll be interesting to see, because Drew Smith hasn't been able to step up in the backcourt. Will Bouye ever really get the chance? Like,
Bouye's never gotten the chance. Drew Smith, I thought he was more of a wing, in my opinion.
Yeah, but either way, he's someone that is getting a chance in the backcourt and not. He's playing a lot at the 2, I feel like. He's just someone who isn't, like, adding dynamic offense as a swingman type player.
Yeah, Jamari's still on the Sky Force. I'm a big fan of Jamari Bouye. Really like him. I also didn't know the Wizards signed him. last year.
And how about some RJ Hampton love? RJ Hampton isn't ready to step up?
They've made RJ Hampton, it looks like a wing. For years is what RJ Hampton is. I think they're trying to make RJ Hampton into Quentin Grimes.
But he can't play 12 minutes of backup guard?
I just don't think RJ Hampton's like a facilitator, and like that's kind of like what they've realized. He's only played one game too. Like,
Yeah, that's interesting.
But like, if you look at his career, like, I mean, I guess I've always thought like RJ Hampton's a secondary facilitator. Like at best, he was a combo guard with point guard like skills. But I've always said for him to have success in the NBA, he had to go down the Quentin Grimes road and play like the wing more. And use that ability in the use his dribbling ability in the transition game. Yeah. There's so many problems with this Heat team. Let's move on and let's not get stuck on one team. And let's talk about Cam Thomas.
Your mic's a little strong.
Real. It's not fake. And to be exact, 45 points last night. To be exact, on the season, through 7 games, 28.7 points, 34 minutes a night, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists. That is absurd. He's currently ranked points scored per game. He's the 7th highest leading scorer in the NBA, while shooting 48% from the field. It's legit. And he's playing defense, which is crazy. And passing the ball. 2.5 assists in a steal night. Which, like, again, let me pull up his defensive rating, which would be a better indicative of what his defensive stat is. But right now, his defensive rating is. Why it's just not pop? You want to pop up? Dude, I hate when basketball reference glitches on your phone and you can't move stuff. But either way, what is your thoughts on Cam Thomas while I find this data?
Jackson. Oh, God.
Join?
He was. He's gone. He's dominating. I mean, he's dominating in the mid-range. He's getting his spots. I mean, the ball was just finding him last night. Like, he was hitting buckets, and then he'd go, like, crash the boards, and it would just fall into his lap. So when you're hot, you're hot. And he has, I think he has, the 4th highest usage in the league right now. Or, at least among guards, his usage is top 5. So
yeah, I'm trying to pull...
Brooklyn is leaning into it, and he's delivering.
They are leaning into it. So right now, he's shooting 58%. His usage rate is at almost 32%. That's
crazy. That's crazy usage.
Damn. All right, yeah. And can you pull up his defensive rating?
No, because that's just a team stat.
Yeah, but what's the team stat been with him on the defense? The public loves defensive ratings.
Brooklyn ranks in the 24th percentile of points allowed per 100 possessions with Cam Thomas on the court. They are -7.
117.9 right now. Cam Thomas is still a Trae Young level defense. That was painful. Trae Young is 119 career defense rating. It's absurd.
Jeez.
He's historically one of the worst inept defenders of all time. Trae. But yeah, no, I'm all for Cam Thomas.
And he's offsetting that offensively even still. He's delivering a 7 point. His net rating is +1. So despite getting torched defensively, he's still outscoring the points that they're allowing while he's on the floor. So that's all you need.
I'm so confused that...
And they're playing without Clax. If you had Cam Thomas out there getting buckets and Clax protecting the rim, his numbers would look way better, I feel like.
I think Cam Thomas, though, at this point, is he an all-star? Do these stats even matter? Does it, in a league that scoring is all that is important? Is this guy going to get paid? Do people care? Because it's weird to think about a guy who's scoring 28 points in a league where scoring is everything is still if he were to average 28 points for the season, I don't think he gets max contract. I don't even think He gets like 15 million, maybe 12. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
That was the ballpark I was gonna name, is like 12 to 15. But also, even though the defensive metrics are bad, you and I have seen him bringing energy defensively, and that's something that is value adding, and it would make me comfortable to pay him
Why?
15 mil at the end of the season if I can look back on this whole campaign and see like a
What
sustainable picture.
differentiates him from Zach LaVine or Bradley Beal or like any of those guys who got fat contracts after their rookie deals? You know what I mean? Guys who score first, guys who got. Why is Kevin Porter getting 18?
Because they take higher efficiency looks than Cam Thomas does. The shot diet adds to kind of like the ludicrous nature of him booming like this.
Okay.
As a potential factor. Also, obviously, Levine has like those dudes show out. They show out for like 2 years of the rookie deal. You know, it's a bigger picture that you can then invest heavily into.
But like, how does Cam Thomas gain the respect?
That's a great question. I mean, I think if he does it for this full season, he'd have mine.
Because I want to know at what point do we go like, okay, this kid has scoring chops that we have to like compensate him for because they're like at its own level. And the reason why I bring up Zach LaVine and whoever else is making like 30 million plus for being, bad defender but offensive players, it's just what's the difference between Cam Thomas and these 40 million guys who also don't play. That's what I think. And
Yeah.
I guess I want to see.
Well, I think there's the perception, and after a season of Cam Thomas, as I just iterated, that would make me believe more. But I think that you have Zach LaVine, who is perceived, especially at the time, awesome athlete, awesome advantage creator, good handle. Like, this guy is just a scorer. But Cam Thomas is still perceived as a tough bucket getter. And that is, like, less highly paid, because at the end of the day, they're tough buckets.
That makes sense. It's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. And that's why I think people just see him like, oh, you're an overglorified six-man.
But, like, the body control that he has is amazing, and it's really been, like, in mainstream media appreciation recently. But, like, if he does it for a full season, he's going to command a lot of respect from me.
No, I agree. Someone's going to pay him to be a six-man or their starter. All right, let's move on to Jaden McDaniels and his fantastic job shutting down the Boston Celtics, making Jason Tatum look like a man on ice skates. What was your thoughts of Jaden McDaniels and the Timberwolves? Like I said, the Boston Celtics struggle with size, and that was something that I had continuously said yesterday that we saw with the Orlando Magic the year before, that Boston struggles with size, especially having the Twin Towers there. Ain't going to be a team bigger than the Timberwolves. So, what was your thoughts from this game? I mean, the Timberwolves look better. I mean, Chris Finch is arguably one of the best coaches in the league. And, yeah, let me hear your guys' thoughts, or your thought, Henry.
I thought that the late game execution from both teams was horrendous, which, like, as a Chris Finch fan and, like, at least a Joe Mazzulla optimist and, like, a Jason Tatum believer, I just didn't get anything that happened in the final 2 minutes, which was filled with turnovers and Anthony Edwards' shot clock violation.
This game did.
And Drew Holiday having the ball for, like, repeated possessions. Like, Drew Holiday was trying to, like, run pick and roll, which is notoriously not the strong suit of this game.
Who tried running it?
Drew.
Yeah, no, I definitely also thought it was interesting how much Jordan McLaughlin I saw.
Yeah. I like Jordan McLaughlin, but he actually left this game with a knee injury also. But he is kind of like the Conley replacement when they need a true point guard on the floor.
So he's been better this year. So I've gone through phases. When we first got McLaughlin, I was all for it. I was all on the McLaughlin train. All right, that first year he's playing 20 minutes a night, like 8 points. Second year or so, but the last 2 years he's been this guy who plays like 14 minutes a night, averages 4 points, does absolutely nothing. I mean, this year he's still playing like no minutes, and I guess he only played 4 minutes a night. I like McLaughlin, but sometimes I don't know. I also sometimes wonder like how he's an NBA player.
Well, my question is, when you are actually watching him on the court, do you feel like he enhances the synergy of the offense? or both. I mean, both ends. Do you think he just like is a glue guy of sorts?
I do. Like back, like dude, I can't believe he's been in the league for like 7 years. First off, which is like absurd, right?
Yeah.
The thing about that.
Yeah.
This is his 5th year.
This is his age 28 campaign.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is year 6. Year 6. First off. Wow. I thought he was a cool microwave back in the day. We just don't play him enough for me to like give an honest, and like a lot of the time when he comes in, like half the games are okay and then like are good, and the other half are like, oh, Jordan, you know? Because sometimes he tries to snake a pass in that shouldn't be, you know what I mean? He tries to thread the needle
Yeah.
too hard, and then sometimes he just doesn't look to score enough.
Yeah.
I think he's too passive, or then sometimes he makes an irrational decision. I like the kid.
Nobody passed more or was shooting less than him last year.
I believe
He
it.
led the league, and Mike Conley was second dude. That's just the ilk. That's really interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's passive. It's weird. It's
Yeah.
very weird how passive. I mean, with you saying that, I will admit Chris Finch has the Timberwolves point guards being incredibly passive when it comes to shooting.
Yeah. I mean, this list is like spot on. It's McLaughlin, Mike Conley, TJ McConnell, Ryan Arcidiacono, Delly, Ben Simmons, and Chris Paul from last year as assist to usage ratio.
That is a very, very spot on list. I can't believe Delby's just left. He was like, "Yeah, I want to play basketball, but I just want to do it in Australia."
I'm about to segue to Jaden McDaniels, but the dude who covers the Timberwolves for The Athletic, John Krasinski, he is the guy who put me on to Jordan McLaughlin, like, as he put me on to his importance, because he's a huge McLaughlin fan, and, like...
Is he actually?
Yeah, and just talks about how, like, they look better when he's on the floor. So, I mean, oh no, let go.
Dude, I like John Krasinski. Are they considered beat writers? You know, you make so much money, like more money, starting off as like a print sports writer, instead of being like a local news sports reporter.
That doesn't shock me. Well, writing more than reporting, actually, I guess that does shock me.
Writing's easier than reporting.
That does surprise me, actually, and way less scarce.
Yeah, like reporting, like I have to be on TV, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Limited minutes from McLaughlin last year, but he was a +8, which ranked in the 89th percentile, and the year before was a +3.3. But he's never played more than like 850 minutes in a season.
Yeah,
So.
I do know that.
Yeah.
We got ourselves here, Jaden McDaniels, which we're going back. Jaden McDaniels, he's averaging about the same stats as he did last year, I believe. Just, you know, the efficiency looks way up because there. I don't expect Jaden McDaniels to take any steps in terms of scoring wise. 12, maybe a 15 points per game score.
Well, I thought. Oh, sorry.
No, you think he's going to take a jump scoring? I don't need him to.
I thought that yesterday was a telling performance because he started like 1 of 8 from the field and then finishes 8 of 18. He missed his first like 4 threes and then finishes 4 of 9. Like the 3-point stroke is the one thing that could keep developing, and the fact that he continued firing through misses early was like big for me. Like that made me happy to see.
What was Roko's career high?
Robert Covington's career high.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I feel like they could have a very similar scoring career.
I'm gonna say 35.
14 and a half.
Robert Covington? Oh, I think in one game.
No,
He scored 43, bro. Against the Bucks in April. Wow, in April of 2022, he scored 43.
that's
That's
absurd.
pride.
So 14 and a half points was Robert Covington's best season. I think 14 and a half, he could do that.
Yeah, no, me too, certainly.
I just don't see him as a 20 points per game scorer.
No.
I don't think he has that, nor do I want him to be that. Because if he has to do that on offense, he's going to be wasting all his energy from defense. So I'll be like, hey, bro, you can take offense off. Just shoot the 3-point shots. I need you and your energy for defense and transition. You know?
He really, he prefers the mid-range still, I'd say. He looks way more comfortable there than from deep, yeah.
Yeah, I'd cut that shit out.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I'd cut it out also.
And just tell him shoot mid-range, not mid-range, shoot 3-pointers or dunks.
But it's just interesting that he does that for the sake of like a scalable offense. Like I don't think it'll necessarily project, and I don't necessarily want it to for the same reason you're saying. Like I'd way rather him be just like a supplemental offensive piece and then clamp for me defensively.
Yeah,
But I do think
screw in
there
transition.
is some scalability.
No, I think he can be more than 12 points per game scored.
Yeah.
But I'm saying I don't see it getting past 15.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I think 15 is a solid number for Jaden McDaniels as a scorer.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, the Timberwolves, there's some games like this one where you buy into them being a 50-win team, and then there's other games where you're like, all right. And Chris Finch is one darn good coach, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes it's like player execution. Also, sometimes Anthony Edwards doesn't. This is a weird year for Ants.
Yes, keep going because you're right.
He looks like he's hunting for stats, and I don't want to say it like that, but that's what it looks like. Okay, I feel like he's heard he's supposed to be an MVP candidate, and he's trying to play MVP ball, but he's not. And what it's looking like, he's supposed to be taking that step, and like I don't know, like what are his averages right now? I haven't looked at them, but he's just watching his body language and stuff. He just looks a little bit more frustrated, as if like he's supposed to, like it feels like he thinks this is supposed to be coming easier now, or like something like that. I don't know. Okay, he's averaging 28, which career high, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, like career high. It's not translating to wins, and I don't know. It looks like he's more he's hunting for stats right now than hunting for wins, and he'd rather end the game with the stats that he wants that look like MVP numbers than end with the win. That's Timberwolves fan. I don't think sometimes it just, I don't know. What were your thoughts? Just, are you supposed to take that jump, and it just doesn't feel like that.
Yeah, well, and I thought they were absolutely bailed out yesterday because he was trying to play. I don't think he's hunting for stats nearly as much as he's trying to play hero ball.
Okay, that's a better way to put it. Maybe it's not the better way. He's trying to play MVP ball. He's trying to look like Shea Gilgeous-Alexander from last year.
But don't they need him to do that?
Yes, they do, but he doesn't look like that, so delegate.
But there has to be trial and error to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Like I want him to delegate also, and it would be nice if they could delegate at a slightly higher level. But that's why I think sometimes it looks really good and sometimes it looks really bad. Because even on a night like yesterday, it looks good when he hits back-to-back shots and they pull away in OT. But it looked horrible before that when he has a shot clock violation and they have no methodology on offense. And then Boston just doesn't score also, so then they have more chances to win the game. Like against a team that executes down the stretch, Minnesota does not win that game last night. Not that Boston doesn't execute, but they just happened to not yesterday.
Yeah, I think in comparison, you saw Shea last year be able to be that hero ball, put his head down, get to the basket, be a bull in a china shop, just get to his. And it doesn't feel like Anthony Edwards is able to get to his. Maybe we put the expectations or the things on him too early, but it's the hero ball thing that I think we need something. I think we need to build up his confidence, or I think the best way to do it is, it's not even in the beginning of the games are fine. It's more at the late end of the games because like it feels like his mistakes are being compartmentalized, and it's making it look worse at the end of games because in moments where he should be taking ahead, like last year, it felt like Shea took over the last 2 minutes. Anthony Edwards doesn't take over the last 2 minutes.
Yes, he has an inconsistent presence in the game.
Yeah.
And Shea is leaps and bounds above him in that regard on both ends.
Yeah, great way to put it.
Yeah.
Great way to put it. And the reason why I'm comparing him to Shea is that that's the best comparison we can put realistically of like Shea, we knew what he was, and then he took that jump to an MVP level. Anthony Edwards, we know what he is. We're hoping he takes that MVP jump. And there was that moxie, that presence that Shea had all season. Okay, you watched any game, the Thunder were in it because Shea was playing. It doesn't feel like that when I watch an Anthony Edwards Timberwolves game as a Timberwolves fan. I wasn't even a Thunder fan, but I could turn on a Thunder game without fucking Chet. And I'll admit, like, Shea doesn't really have that presence this year, and I think that's more because he has to delegate and let the younger guys play. But he's still really fucking good. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I think how you said the inconsistency of, like,
His
And
presence.
his presence on there. He's not. I mean, Jason Tatum struggles with this too. I mean,
Yeah.
like I think Tatum's a lot more consistent about it, but Tatum, we've seen it before. Like this is, I think, what keeps guys from being MVP candidates and All Stars. Or like
Yeah, and maybe it's just kind of his persona. Like maybe he just will never like really step up and impact every single second of the game.
or we put the expectations too early because Shea, what was he year 6 last year? Is he year 7? Or was
True. Good point.
and Anthony Edwards is
point.
going into year 4. Dude, that like what? Shea's like 25, dude. Anthony Edwards is 21. No, like
Yeah.
that's a lot of life in
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's a big part of it too. Like we're acting like this kid was like Derrick Rose,
Yeah.
Like Derrick Rose, like supposedly a very wise guy. Like Derrick Rose, like Jaylen Brown-esque, like supposedly like presence, like you know what I mean, old man. Like suppose Derrick Rose has always been like an old man, like an old soul in a young man's body.
And then maybe Ant is like a partial victim of this offense. Maybe he would look better.
I think
Elsewhere.
he's a good coach. Don't ever come for Chris Finch. I'm just kidding. I think it's an immaturity thing. You remember? I think not an immaturity thing. I think it's just him needing to grow up because you remember.
A wisdom thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because several years ago, Ant used to go into press conference and be like, "I'm ordering McDonald's," and like all these things. And he would, you remember when he called people queers on Instagram in his second season? And the Timberwolves have done a really good job of handling this in house. Supposedly, they went ahead and they paid for it and to have a personal chef and a nutritionist in his life now, and never eats out. He gets home, there's a meal for him. He wakes up, there's a meal, and lunch. The organization cooks it for him, and he has a nutritionist that gives him a nutrition plan to follow, as well as with the gay slur he used. He allegedly, I think he voluntarily agreed, and they gave him outsourced psychology and like to learn like how what by saying things like that, like how he affects people. And they have done a very, because that's why we've talked about this before. I've always compared the John Moran to Anthony Edwards. Like anytime Anthony Edwards has slipped up, the Timberwolves have done a great job of handling it in-house. And I think, naturally Anthony Edwards might have been, more of an immature person, more of a, young, goofy soul. And I think there still is a maturation process that needs to be undergo for him to, to fully be in manhood. And I don't know if it's there, and that's fine. That's part of life. You know what I mean? You can't tell a kid, a 21-year-old could be a man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't necessarily have a ton of maturity questions. I actually like what I've seen from Ant with Team USA.
As a leader.
Yeah, and I think that will just kind of take time. And I do like what I saw at Team USA. I think that he has random moments of being stoic and being locked in.
It's there. I just think he's fucking 21 years old. He doesn't know how to tap into it like all the time or like focus. Like when you were 21, you think you could like galvanize a bunch of 30-year-olds to win a game?
Not like I could now. I can do a way better job now. I mean, that's like that even is more of a furtherment to your point.
But I think that's more the thing is like he's supposed to be the leader for a bunch of people old. But I don't think, and I think he's matured. I think he's a person who has shown flashes of being a leader. But he's 21 fucking years old.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so it's definitely interesting to see. Okay. And I was just reading something. Supposedly, dude, it looks like Trump might actually be going to jail. Also, O.J. Simpson says Bam Adebayo is better than Anthony Davis.
Slow news day.
Man, because I like tough. I mean, offensively, Davis when he's on, but Bam's tough, man. And I like tough. And you know what? I like tough. So,
And you know what? When I stabbed my wife 27 times.
All right, we done with the Wolves, or we got more Wolves stuff to say?
Yeah, we're done with the Wolves. We have no games, right?
No games today.
I guess the one thing we can talk about right here is what's going on with James Wiseman and the DMPs. Is he just that bad?
Yeah. Well, I think that you can really tell that Monty is putting a focus on defense because he's playing Killian. And James Wiseman will not defend, therefore he won't see the court.
Yeah, I'm surprised Marvin Bagley's willing to defend, but I guess Marvin Bagley's learned his lesson.
Yeah. But yeah, Wiseman is essentially done in Detroit because they only played with 9 dudes yesterday. And he still probably only played, 10 minutes?
All right, you got we don't have the games on tonight, right?
Mm-mm.
NBA.
Other points of note from around the league, Joel Embiid scored 48 last night. The Pacers tied their all-time franchise record for points scored.
Really?
Yep.
Slow news day.
Rare news day. For a day off of ball.
Basically, no games tonight. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Let me confirm, but I believe you are correct.
We got scheduling. We talked everything we wanted to talk. Jackson's not on.
Nope, and 14 games again tomorrow.
Wow. That makes no sense. I'm gonna write a letter by hand.
Dude, we can hunt these scheduling guys down. Well, I think we can find
Dude,
them.
honestly, you know what would be the best thing to have them on?
Secaucus. Let's go to Secaucus. Do the show live from Secaucus.
Yeah, it's Secaucus. Is that where it is?
That's where the league office is, yeah.
I thought it's Atlanta, Georgia.
I don't think so.
Where's Secaucus?
New Jersey? Or New York?
What? Okay, wait. It might be NBA TV Studios.
Yeah, the league is definitely based out of New York.
New York City, it says. Oh wait, you're right. Secaucus, New Jersey. The headquarters is in New York, but the regional office is in Secaucus.
That's where they go for all the replay reviews and official referee stuff as well.
NBA TV headquarters though is in Georgia because of tax incentives. Yeah, Atlanta, Georgia. NBA TV studios, yeah.
All right.
All right, guys, that's gonna be it for us. Be a friend, tell a friend if you guys did enjoy. If you're listening to this, go check us out on YouTube. And yeah, hit a like and subscribe. We all love you.